Critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. Sequel time! Released in 2018, Ant-Man and the Wasp would begin production by late 2015 and would debut Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet and Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster. The film would once again be directed by Peyton Reed, and Paul Rudd himself would help on the writing. While the first film would be considered a heist film, the sequel would become more of a romantic action comedy. The film focuses on Hank, Scott, and Hope figuring out how to find Janet down in the quantum realm, all while stopping Ghost from getting her own personal revenge, and Scott would be running from Woo. So let's take a look at the sequel to Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp. We begin in the past as an amazingly de-aged Hank and Janet leave a young Hope behind in order to stop a missile crisis. This scene shows us how Janet sacrifices herself in order to save millions from death by going into the quantum realm. In the present, however, Hank and Hope think they can build a device to bring her home. Meanwhile, Scott Lang is on house arrest after the events of Civil War and playing games with his daughter. Eventually, though, he accidentally shoves his foot through the fence, setting off his alarm.
Daddy!
Come on. Officer, I swear it was only my feet outside of the bounds. Please don't shoot. Woo, of course, does not believe Scott's actions and just thinks he's up to no good, assuming he's contacted Hank and Hope.
I haven't talked to Hank or Hope in forever.
They hate his guts.
Thanks, Peanut.
You're welcome! Wait, you're talking to her. Never mind. We then get a montage of Scott doing a bunch of random stuff while boredom sinks in for his house arrest, but as he goes to relax, he gets a small premonition and flashes of Janet in his mind as he sees himself as her playing hide-and-seek with Hope. This makes him call Hank on a whim, and the next time he goes to eat, he faints. New from Kellogg's, Faintios! Get back to work or we'll drag you to it! Scott wakes up to find Hope has kidnapped him over his phone call, but when he freaks out, she assures him he won't get in trouble. She eventually takes him to see Hank and the device they've been working on to get details from what's in his head. Scott tells them about his dream of Hope, but he just wants to stay in the building.
Alright, fine. But can I just wait inside? Because I'm not supposed to be out here.
Well, that's an easy-ass way to move. Where was I when I needed that? The group head to a meeting place where they are looking for a component for the device as Hope meets with the man named Birch that sells things over the little black market. However, he has learned that she is not who she says she is and tries to blackmail her into working with him. She then uses this to change into Wasp in order to get the component, as it showcases how much of a fighter she really is and is personally one of my favorite scenes in the film. The scene eventually introduces one of the villains of the film named Ghost, who takes her by surprise.
Hope, get out of there!
Scott is given a work-in-progress suit to help Hope as Ghost goes after Hank to take their lab from them. The group go to the new security building Scott and Lewis are trying to run, and they all discuss what to do as Hank mentions that the only other person that may have the same equipment he does is Bill Foster, so they head to the college that Bill teaches at.
Relax, no one's gonna recognize us.
What, because of hats and sunglasses? It's not a disguise, Hank. We look like ourselves at a baseball game.
In an isolated system.
You know, it's not every day that Marvel makes fun of itself in their own films. So, point for Marvel? They go to Bill, who shows his animosity towards Hank.
The only thing more tiring than going that big is putting up with Hank's bullshit.
Damn!
Bill tells the group to basically leave him alone as Wu shows up once again. The idea Bill gives them, however, could help Scott, then reveals he actually did not destroy Hank's suit. It is actually hidden in the trophy that Cassie ends up taking to school. So we then get a small detour of Scott's suit malfunctioning, forcing him to wear kids' clothes undercover. Shenanigans ensue, continuing until they finally get the suit.
You want a juice box and some string cheese?
Do you really have that?
I want a juice box! Bill was right as they are able to locate Ghost hideout as they infiltrate but are knocked out before they can do anything. The group then learn that Bill is actually helping Ghost as we go into her backstory on how she got to the way she is, blaming Hank for not only her parents' death but her condition as well. Bill believes he can use Janet's quantum energy to fix Ava, and Hank fakes a heart attack due to stress.
Wait!
Wrong pills! They actually manage to escape as Lewis and company meet Birch and get truth serumed in order to get information on Scott and Hank's locations. Bill then denies Ava's plan on kidnapping Cassie, so she pays attention to Birch's interrogation, scaring the fuck out of everyone.
Oh, the woods.
The woods?
And now I gotta pee. They begin doing their experiment, but once nothing happens, Janet mentally takes over Scott's body, giving them the information and creepily flirting with Hank. Janet's help works as Lewis lets Scott know what's going on with Birch. The two have a small disagreement while Wu walks in on Cassie and her parents trying to talk to Scott, only to find him pretending to be sick. Hank and Hope get arrested as Ghost knocks out Birch's inside man and takes the lab. Scott has a heart-to-heart with Cassie regarding how much he screwed up with Hope, and through her words, he helps Hope and Hank break out of detainment with a suit of their own. As Scott deals with Ghost, Hank decides he's the only one that will shrink in order to find his wife. This begins a very long car chase as the group head to the location they need to be at with the lab while running from Birch and Ghost, who are constantly just chasing them trying to steal the lab. The scene lasts a good while with multiple different shenanigans, from shape-sizing things from their cars to a giant Pez dispenser. Meanwhile, Janet and Hank finally see each other again after decades, while Scott becomes Giant Man again, as Birch tries to get away with the lab, but his size becomes too much for him as he eventually collapses. Hope, of course, saves his life, while Lewis loses the building to Ghost, who doesn't care how Bill feels as she begins the extraction anyway. Our heroes, of course, do what's needed to have Hank and Janet resize. Hope reunites with her mother before she also uses her powers in order to essentially heal Ava of her tangibility. The group then do what they can to thwart the police by tricking Wu with a giant suit. Ava and Bill make up, and Scott manages to get away with everything and gets off of his house arrest. The movie then ends with Scott being able to live his life with Cassie, and the security business begins to have some sort of success as Hank and Janet rekindle their relationship. This movie is meh. The movie was very successful, making $662 million back on a $195 million budget, and had mostly positive reviews, as well as being the 11th highest grossing film of 2018. However, I personally just don't like this film as much as I enjoyed the first one. For me, the film is just unrememberable, and while some of the jokes made me chuckle, I really think it's just way too slow paced and way too many shenanigans are going on. I did have to watch the movie a couple times more than usual because I just got bored with it and had issues actually writing this episode. I don't find anything wrong with the movie, but I wouldn't go out of my way to say this movie is spectacular or anything like that. It's just existent. So, that being said, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay stupid as long as you stay awesome. I have no idea why I went into an accident. I love you.